Okay. I'm here looking at 2 games tonight from DPS only, and they're LUTI sets. Um, Not too much to say other than that. I guess I'm specifically going to be looking at like the the reasons why we are, I guess, losing these sets or the games. Like what leads up to that, how it's preventable, stuff like that. I'll definitely be trying to emphasize that more than like what I normally do, um, which is just like more general stuff. Other than that, though, that's all I really got. Let's watch these games. This is my first time watching these games too, so I might need a second just to see. Okay, so um, I've talked about this maybe a little bit on the Twitch chat, like just a tiny bit. I like talked about it, but the only way I think we're gonna be able to get away with a comp like this against a comp like theirs, or just in general with the comp like this, is if we really try to play to our strengths of our weapons. Um, if you are not going to be playing to the strengths of your weapons like 80% plus of the time, like playing in really good positions for that, it's going to be very difficult for you guys to, for example, push through mid on like this map, right? So let's talk about it. Um, yeah, let's talk about it. So the the main like advantage to having, we'll start with ink brush here, is that the sides are going to be very easy to work around, right? Jay is going to be able to move especially through that right side pretty often, and should be definitely looking for that. If they're not looking for that, bombs on either side, here I can show you with my like pen tool, bombs onto like here also very strong as well. But basically, for the most part, just threatening the sides here. Not even really fully committing, but the side like threatening is going to help a lot with getting the rest of the team in. Okay, and that's where the next part of this comes in. So then our next 2 players are Droid and Fern, and Droid is a very slow weapon. So our Droid is running a Dynamo, which is a very slow weapon, and because of that, it's going to be very difficult for Droid to pair well with Fern on a map with like a ton of corridors like this, for example. You know, if there was more for Droid to play around in mid here, other than like, I don't know, maybe like this side here, um, then it would be really good for you guys in opening. Like Fern's position here would be great. Because there isn't too much for Droid to do here other than grab cooler at the start. The Fern, you're going to be wanting to look more towards your ink brush. Because think about it, right? You have your ink brush who's dragging attention. Who are they dragging attention for on your team specifically, or should be specifically for you, Fern, because that's where you thrive. Fern, you're going to be thriving on these paths, basically just every single whatchamacallit, like lane on this map is going to be pretty good for you, as long as you have like the advantage to when you peek it, and you get that advantage by uh by like having pressure taken off of you from like the brush. Like if the brush is going right, we can maybe look through here to pressure this together. That simultaneously gets the brush in, and then also like, you know, you could get a pick Fern. But basically, like that's how our pairings have to work. It's not even that like this is how they should work. You know, like I'm suggesting it. It's more of like this is what needs to be done in order for us to to even have a chance here, like an opening, for example. Because if we aren't coordinated to this extent on opening, um, you're gonna feel your weapon weaknesses quite a lot, right? Like if Fern is the only one peeking mid here, and we don't have like attention being dragged from someone else on the side, or just like in mid in general, like this is going to feel very difficult excuse me, for the rest of the team. And you can kind of see that right here, where this first fight from Fern is very good, very strong fight. Jay, you over peak here, like you over just commit to this. This is very, I mean, I want to say predictable, but it's really like, if I was enemy, I wouldn't expect you to do this. But at the same time, like, it's where the enemy is watching, right? Is through these lanes, and that's why that's exactly what I was talking about. Like, you don't need to be here. In this case here, you're forcing a lot. Out of yourself, like you're forcing yourself to basically just go out in the opening and like face multiple people, whether you realize it or not. And that's really bad for you because you are like your weapon is going to be trying to skirmish as much as possible. So you're going to be trying to, or you should be trying to take fights that you have easy exit routes out of. For example, on these lanes, right? Because you can easily just back up if you're being threatened, and that will stall the timeout, right? Like your whole goal, Jay, needs to be definitely, at least in this opening, a lot more focused on on playing for attention, because the more attention you get, the better Fern will do up front with Droid. Like, you going down here in the middle is really bad, because like, look at this, right? Look at our angles now. We have one entry point from right here, Pen's looking at it, and the two players over here both have like angles covered. So this is just generally really bad for like our opening here. Crab comes out, like this is pretty solid from them. They really should have gotten a kill here. I do not know how they don't get a kill. And so same thing, right? So now again, we're back in this mid control space. We should be taking a bit more of like our side of mid. But again, we're going to be looking for these like side angles. We're going to be looking for what fights we can take together. Fern, I like this left side. I think you overcommit a little too much, Fern, because like we should go back and maybe look at that real quick. You overcommit by dropping here, I'd say. It's just not something, like, to sum it up, like, this is just not something you need to drop for. When the bucket plays like this, like, you move up more, like, right here. Just a safer angle. Because now Fern, you're putting yourself into a position to have to fight two at once. And so, yeah. The team fight still seems to go, like, decently well. Oh, actually, no, okay. But yeah, like, definitely look to play your range a little more there, Fern. It will help you significantly. And then this jump in is also really bad. Like, the jump in plus Wing's death here goes from them getting to like 70 confirmed to them getting to like 50. Like, they will be getting 50 remaining or less if they play this correctly. Yeah, and then we keep going down here. This is also not good. Okay. Yeah, we'll talk about this next. So another part of this is definitely just knowing our positionings for our weapons. So so when we go to set up for defense, right, in order to win, we need to be playing in the positions that our weapons thrive in the most. We should be looking to set up on those positions as much as possible. Droid kind of gets to one of those positions here, that can really thrive on or near the ramp. The issue is that Kraken comes out, right? And when Kraken comes out here, Droid, you just jump, because there's nothing else for you to do. You have coolers, so you can just jump like this. Because like at the end of the day, Droid, you're more of like a bait here. You have a great spot up front, but at the same time, like, you guys have already lost so much space because you guys have gone down so much that you need to like almost act as bait. So when this Kraken comes out, it's good for you because now you just jump back and you play from left with the rest of your team. Fern, again, I think you get a little too hasty to take a fight here. Notice how there's not much support from anyone over here to help you. I think that's a big reason why, like, instead of taking a more indirect fight here, you've straight up just made this a 1v1, and that's not what's going to benefit you the most. What's going to benefit you the most is going for like more more like targeted kills when they're distracted, I guess, or like when attention is being taken, like I kind of stated earlier. um. So yeah, this is a little difficult for us. Jay as well. You are pretty far forward at this point. I mean, if anyone's gonna die, like and like it be okay for the team, it would be you in this case. But still, a death is a death. Like a lot of the reason why we aren't able to set up here in this scenario, like why this feels okay, this is so tough for us, you know, a lot of that reason is because of the deaths we had earlier. We should actually go back and look at that and just watch through this one more time, because like we can probably count maybe 5 or so unnecessary deaths if I had to guess. Hold on one second. Okay. Yeah, let's go back even more. We have 1 unnecessary death with Fern here, and then 2 and 3 with Droid and Jay going down. Wings stays here, which is bad. Fern jumps in, this is 4. Wings dies here, which is 5. And then, yeah, Jay goes down here as well, 6. I think that's the last one I would count as unnecessary. Yeah. So 6 deaths here is like I can talk all I want about what happens from here until like the next like 20-30 seconds, but if you guys want to do better on your pushes, it straight up it comes down to the 6 deaths right there, more than anything else. Like everything else I talk about is so much less important than how this hold goes for us here. Like you guys are playing from such a disadvantage already, because of like the consistent stagger here, that this is already going to be extremely difficult, and you guys have only made it harder on yourselves. So yeah, I guess I don't have too much else to say about this then. Ultimately, like, we need to save ourselves at least from 2 or 3 of those at the very least. Like, like in my matches, I feel like if we get 2 of those deaths, the game's over for us. The fact that we're still holding on with 6 is a little surprising to me. They didn't take too much space, and I think like in general we actually played that pretty decently, but not entirely optimal. So so yeah, but like don't like they got to 37 here almost entirely because of our deaths, like because of our 6 deaths. That honestly could not have gone too much better for you at that point. Like I said, they were going to get past 50. Like that's just confirmed. When you guys die like that. Okay. So let's talk about mid now, right? We're back in this position. Jay, again, you're taking a very this is something I don't like. Jay, you're taking a very open angle again. So in this case, yes, Jay, you are taking attention to players, but you are so much more likely to die when you're just straight out in the mid like this. I cannot emphasize that enough. That's just like the biggest thing here. Like this is like where you go if you want to die. Thankfully they're not there yet, so we back up. We have time. But like here, like look at your entry here, right? Like this is extremely risky, and you do end up dying for it. And that's I think that's a lot of the reason why this is going to go poorly, this entry here, because like now, like we can see the repercussions live of it. Let me go back to it. Like look at what happens here, where you're the only one entering forward. We have a decent amount of space, but we're trying to push tower a little too early as well. Because you go down, Jay, like Droid has nothing up front here to look at. Fern also cannot help with anything. Droid is still on tower solo. Like there's not much here for us. We are going to lose this. We're going to lose this interaction to regain mid, and that's as simple as it gets. So like ultimately, Jay, I think your life matters a whole ton of a lot more than you are making it seem right now. And it's super important that you not only drag like attention like you're doing, like you are looking to, you know, like like play up and get some attention going so your teammates can be more enabled, but it's so important that you live for as long as you can while doing that. And that's why I'm emphasizing more of like the side playing. I think you'll see that in a lot of other brushes as well, and not even just brushes, but also it's especially noticeable in very high XP Japanese players. Like they will just live. A lot of times you'll see them like they might be taking a 2v1 or something, or a 1v2, but like even if they are in some of the most like impossible scenarios ever, like they are consistently staying alive, and that's what's like getting them value over time. Because even if you know you don't get immediate value, even if you don't kill whoever's up front or something like that, even if you don't do that, you're still dragging attention, which is going to be like the main factor in enabling your team, which is why I'm emphasizing it so much, because that is entirely your role here as Brush. Kills come second. Okay. Yeah, we try to hold on to this for probably a little too long too. Jay, like this is again like just not a time where you can go in. The fact that you're alive is insane. Jay, you could probably play left here as well. Yeah, this is better. Okay, we still go down. So, yeah, we can go back. Okay, so why is this weak, for example? Jay, you do play left. You just play in still like an angle where a lot of players are going to be looking at you. Like you are the next target. Let me show you like what I meant by left here. So let me go back just a bit. Okay, so right here, if you are gonna stick in this fight, right, and you rotate around this way, like we should ideally. Oh, hold on. Okay, that's odd. Okay, we should be looking to play more for like around here, maybe here when we see this. What we see here. Hold on, just a sec. Right here, you see how Fern is left with you? Like your entry here comes in from left if you're gonna play it. If you're gonna play this, otherwise, like you can't stick ramp though, because what happens on ramp is the entire enemy team, like towers pushing this way, right? Tower is going to be going towards ramp. Your entire enemy team is going towards ramp. So you just sitting here is putting you directly again in the line of fire of everyone on the enemy team, pretty much. Which is why you do go down right here. Like look at how like the pen doesn't even have to look at you, but the pen should be looking at you. If the pen looked at you here, you're dead. Even before this, but like notice how they naturally can just move straight into you because that's where they're going. That's what we're trying to avoid, because again, if you're pulling attention, you are benefiting your team. Okay, anyway, and then yeah, the rest of this is also kind of weak because we haven't had like a consistent like hold here. We don't have specials. That's a very big thing I've noticed, is we haven't really had anything. In general, we should try to make it a habit for at least 1 to 2 people to live when the enemy team starts to get momentum. That way we have a special. Ideally it's pack. Whale could be pretty useful too. So yeah. But like again here, they're gonna get points, and it's because we are still like running into a lot of unnecessary deaths, but also like I said with the with like where we're playing relative to tower, I guess, with Jay being like next to tower. This is great. I love this 1v2 on the crab. It goes decently well. Droid has a pretty strong spot too. Maybe a little far away from tower, but Droid's still doing good here. And we cleaned it up pretty nicely given the circumstances, I'd say. Again, like I think a lot of this is just we don't have specials. We aren't really prioritizing our life here. Like so far from what I've seen, right, every single time that we have had mid control, like, and we've tried to push, like we play the right side over here and we just fully commit, even if it goes wrong for us. And when it goes wrong for us, we end up going like 3-4 down, and then they just come back in. and obviously are going to have a very strong push because of that. So we have to be very careful about how much we commit into our pushes when they aren't going well already. I would much rather us play slower and play more calculated. Like, this is a great kill here. This is a kill that will get us through zone, or through it. Like, if anything, we follow up with this kill up towards the left side with brush if we can. Ideally, maybe try to get droids somewhere around this line, but it's going to be a little difficult to do just a second. So yeah, I like where Jay's playing. This is good. Okay, let me go back. Wings, with the comp you guys are playing, it's kind of weird because specifically on tent, like, you're gonna have a bit of trouble with pack, because your team doesn't have too much to like help you here. That being said, though, like, I think this is still maybe a pretty risky time to be packing, just because like your team, like I said, especially because your team doesn't have too much going for us in terms of like how we can pressure tent. But like, this is really great. Like, I really like our rain here on the right. Like, we should be, if anything, after we get this kill, we should be looking a lot more towards this right side than towards tent right now, because tent is kind of irrelevant until we get tower up to here-ish. So yeah, like, even now I think tent is pretty irrelevant. But tent becomes more relevant very quickly because our pack does go down there. They get a lot of space for free. It's kind of like the same thing with where they just naturally are going to be setting up there, and because they got wings there, like, that helps them even more. So yeah, this is going to be very difficult for us now. Like, wings, the biggest thing here is I think you can more save your pack anyway as like a counter. Your team already has great positioning, following, like, we have everything we need right now to get tower to like 70, 50 even, or at least like that second check. Like, let's save pack for when these guys like start to counter back with specials, because you do, like, even if you lived here, you did pack very early. Tower just got to 80. Okay, but this is not something we should be committing to. Like, droid, you can't stay here because our push has gone wrong, and that's the end of it. Like, that, there's nothing else to get out of this. Like, out of everyone here, Fern is in the best position, and even Fern should be more like back mid at this point. We can't commit to tower here. Fern's committing to tower is not good, because, like, look at what happens now. Right now, when we go back to rotate, we realize, oh shoot, we need to back up. Right, the enemy team is already there. Like, they're already looking to push there. Before we can set up properly. It's not good. So now wings has to be moved even further back, and instead of keeping the space, right, like, our whole goal here on right side was to keep even more space. Instead, we lose even more space because we haven't backed up appropriately when we need to. Fern goes down as well. That's going to be adding to the stagger, and this is a very difficult situation now. I think we play this so far pretty fantastically, though. I like the sides we're taking for the most part. This is great. Jay, do not look to contest that crab, though. That's not what we want to do. I hope that I shouldn't have to say that. Like I hope Jay, if you're looking at this, like, you're looking back at this and you're like, yeah, no, this is not something I should be doing. If it's not, then we probably have more to work on than just what I'm talking about. That's okay. We have to be very careful also of how we come into this fight first. So, like, look at what happens here with Jay going down to crab. Like, Fern, you do look to follow up, but the problem is that there's nothing for you to follow up on because, like, the fight has already ended well before this. Like, we have no reason to be contesting this crab. This crab has literally one, like, they're here, right? They have one sight line and it's right here. This is all they poke. That's it. Everything else, every other inch of this map is completely ours to take. Outside of, like, outside of that, like, everything here is completely ours to take. We have no reason to be still contesting this crab while it's still out. Contesting it after is more fine. And a Fern, again here, like this is another important part. You have to be very careful about dropping down, because as soon as you drop down, you're 100% committed to this fight. And it's not very easy at all for you to back up from, as you can see there. Okay, so now like again, right? So one, I think in general here, like you can sum this up as we do need to be looking a little bit more just in front of us. We definitely aren't playing too well together, although it seems like we are maybe we're maybe like kind of getting the hang of things with coordination, but things are just still slightly off. Like we're not entirely in the groove here, and I could tell that because like it does seem like we're responding to like the same threats. It's just like not at the same time so far. This is a great pick from Jay. Jay should be very careful with this. I like this whale, actually. Yeah, very strong pick here as well. Continuing their stagger. Pack here is better. Although again, like it is a little early because like we have to get to 19, which is very difficult. Jay, this fight, I'm actually okay. I'm more okay with this fight than like a lot of the other fights that you've taken this game, but it's still very risky. Like I would rather you play closer to the pack, Jay, like specifically going more left here before you take the fight. Just because like again, like I guess it's kind of like backup routes. It's kind of weird, and I don't really say this often, but like it's more of like a vibe. like I just look at I look at where you're playing and I'm like, I think this could be slightly better. And that's really all I got. It's kind of odd, I guess. But that's just like my experience coming in. Like I can just kind of see and be like, yeah, this is like maybe slightly not optimal. Like, yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about that. You're also, Jay, again, though, you are definitely in a very open position when you think about it, right? Like you're playing right here when the enemy is setting up here as well. Like you don't seem very aware of what's going on. I think that's also part of the reason why I say like if we want to play for up here, we want to try to get Jay up to like this point. But yeah, overall, like my biggest statement here is that we're committing to plat before we really need to, I think. Like that's the biggest thing here, rather than like any micro stuff. What about from the other two? Yeah, definitely overcommitting. Absolutely overcommitting. And then, okay, also recognizing that we can't both be this sightline. It's exactly the same thing that I've been talking about for a while now, where we have to remember that the enemy, we make the job for the enemy easier when we go directly where the enemy is already set up and looking to push through, right? So if the enemy is mostly set up here, right, they're looking to push through this side. When we go to enter this side, like we're just basically, we're bringing ourselves to them. And with some comps that can be okay, but for your guys' comp, that is basically the worst thing you can do. Because again, you know, if Dynamo goes up here, Dynamo is very slow. Dynamo might be able to trade, but otherwise they're getting mowed down by whoever else is here, right? Especially if like the enemy team's already like basically waiting for that. Fern is probably going to do the best by just jumping up here, but at the same time, like still, like Fern doesn't, it's just a straight 1v1 at that point. Like it's no better than a straight 1v1 at best for Fern there either. And then like yeah, I mean it's both that, and then also definitely I think more of the issue here is that we still definitely overcommitted way too early to the left side. Okay, so this is exactly what I'm talking about, Jay. Look at, you get a fantastic pick here. Actually, this is a very strong pick for your circumstance, where we get. I'll let it go. Okay, so Jay, you get this pick right here. This pick is crucial. When you get this pick, notice how you have like I actually think you have a pretty decent backup route here, just to like play under 10 or something, or back up all the way. Your goal here should be to disengage, not to keep going, because your team is not there. Like your dragging attention is doing really good, but your team needs time to respond as well. And when you go in for this kill here, like that's what basically you go from this interaction possibly being like boom, a whole nother push from your team to the interaction just being a trade, and like that's it. That's all it does for your team, is it's just a trade, and it benefits them. Because like look now, like what are we gonna do to get in? There's no entry here at all. Nothing. Our only chance there was with Jay. We have nothing going for us now. So yeah, it's a bit of a comp issue. Not entirely a comp issue though. Like it can still be solved, I feel. So I don't have much to say about that section right there, because there's literally nothing you guys can do. In my eyes. Or very little. Your best bet is just not die. And at this point, I honestly don't really care too much about what happens here either, because like our chances for pushes have gone, and they have Kraken for cheese, so yeah, there's nothing else to see here. That's it. Okay. One sec. Alright, now the Mako game. We'll see if these are some reoccurring patterns though. Like I want to see the main things I've seen so far. I want to see Jay playing less on like the central point of the map. Like I think Jay should be playing sides quite a bit more, and also stalling Jay's life as much as possible. Their life is pretty important, because it's like entirely what decides whether like you guys can get something going here. So yeah, we should be playing as much as we can. Like both Jay and the rest of the team should be playing off of each other like so much more than we already are as well. Like, and what I mean by that is like when I see Jay go up, or like when Jay calls that that they're taking space, that they're like dragging attention, like that is my time to move if I'm your teammate. If I'm Jay's teammate. Okay. Next game. And then same thing from Jay's perspective too. Like if Jay needs to realize that it's not entirely about like trades here. Like we need to be going for enabling my teammates, because they can't do too much. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult for them. This is a great. Okay, let's go back. We'll talk about what I like and dislike, because I wasn't really paying attention, so I have to look back. Okay. Likes and dislikes. So I like that most of our attention is on the right. Fern, I think you are looking a little too much left here. Like you should be looking at the fight going on the right as well. I understand why you're clearing what you're clearing. At the same time, like there isn't too much of a threat left at all, honestly. So like you should be like this full charge shot should be going directly onto where Jay's looking right now, onto Bolt. And then same thing with this bucket. Like this bucket should be dead to you, Fern. So a little inaccuracy there, but Droid does a great job of like playing the space that they're provided, and this looks really good for us. The death there is unfortunate, it's fine. This is a really bad dive though from Jay. Okay, unless they completely don't punish it. Wow. Still like suboptimal though. Like I don't think that's a good play to go for at all, Jay. Other than that, our recovery here is actually pretty okay. Jay, again, you're going through zone here when you have this. Like this is like the single most like important angle for you in the entire game is this right side. Yeah, like that's all I gotta say about this. Like you do not need to be you really don't need to be taking as many 1v1s as you are, and you also don't need to be as like just straight in front of the enemy as you are either. Like I think that is like really making things very difficult for Jay here. As for the rest of the team, go back. But like I guarantee if Jay talks to like another brush player, like the other brush player is gonna say like play sides. At least 50% of the time. Like the 50% of the time that we're going in through middle should just be spent on the sides instead. Because it's just more threatening. Okay, anyway, I have to stop talking about that. We have to look at different things now. Okay, both of our fights here are very odd. I don't have too much to say about that. That trade's fine. Like, okay, at this point, again, it's kind of the same thing as the tower scenario, where we've just died. Like there's nothing else really to say about it other than just like we're just dying because we're like trying to get back in, but the rest of the team isn't like in either. We're not very coordinated at all, and yeah, we need to like regroup. Like there's a time every single time on retake. There should be a time where we're like let's regroup. Okay, let's stop the stagger or whatever we're doing, because we've bled like we're gonna end up bleeding like 30 extra points here than we have to, just based off the death so far. Again, this is a pretty ugly scenario again. Like there just isn't too much for us. I don't think we're playing very much together at all. Like Cooler and Pack are on both completely different sides of the map. No pressure on zone whatsoever because of just the staggers again. Okay, we have some sort of coordination here. I like this. This is much better. The rain through is nice as well. Fern should be looking more right. This is good. A lot better. Like yeah, this like regrouping here was a lot better. You like it's just kind of noticeable why as well. Like when you look back, I think, like this goes a lot better because we have some sort of objective. Like one, we have a special as well, but then two, we have like some sort of thing that we're fighting together, which I think is helping a lot. Even if we aren't playing like sides as much as we should. Fern, you get a little too aggressive here. Like this is just not something that you can be fighting just yet. You have to wait. But you absolutely can just like censor this out, Fern, as well. Like put a sensor on pen so you know what the jumps are. Like the jumps are in, because like you come into this thinking, oh, it's still just the pen, but no, it's not still just the pen, right? Yeah, that's all I got really. Like there's just no reason for you to commit. And I don't think you even realize that you're committing here, but like by that squid roll right there, like that's committing. Whether you realize it or not. This is a great type of fight here from Jay. If you're going to be doing like more head-on stuff like this is much more like, I guess, appreciated. What the difference is between like this sort of fight that you take here, Jay, and like a middle fight? Like I guess the very first thing I notice here is that one, you have some support from both players. Like they're both like actually looking at where you end up going here, Jay, but also like you just generally get a more surprise attack like type of attack here, whereas like if you guys were playing mid and you go straight through, Jay, like everyone knows that you're there, you know. So this is a little better because of that. I like the pressure. Yeah, I like the commitment right as well. We should be very careful about how we go into their base here, though. Great pick from Jay. What happened on the left? Hold on. Okay. So, how do I describe this? I feel like the entire team, just in general, like, is very very almost like all or nothing in terms of their fights. Like every fight is either I die or you die. On the like either the enemy dies or you die. It's not so much like there's very little like thought put into okay, how, if this fight doesn't go well for me, how can I react, I guess is what I'm thinking. Like two examples immediately right here where where the first example is Fern, you go left here, and like this spot left is generally okay, but you do see two people here, and then you commit further by dropping as well. And like you don't really have like, in this case this is the better scenario because only one of them drops for you, but like if the splash committed like they should have, like you'd be even more dead than you are right now. And it, for your position is also very important. That's something you have to think about here. Your position is very important because you're the only one currently looking at this, right? Jay has a flank going on right now on right. It's very important that you don't give them the entry to just walk through left, because once they have that entry, then who cares about Jay being back here, you know? Like the rest of the team, their entire team can just now play left for free, and there's nothing stopping them. So yeah, Fern, your life here is very important. It's important that we think about, okay, is this fight an absolutely necessary, like I need to either win this fight or lose this fight, or can I just more like stall the space, I guess is the best wording to describe it, like can I just kind of both play for the space but make sure I live, or does this space immediately need to be like a do or die situation? And I promise you, like 80% of the time it's always the first option, where we can play for the space without being like an ultimatum, like one of us is gonna die here, type of thing. We should be playing for that very little, I guess. Only when you are in complete advantage would I say play for those types of things. Okay, and then Jay, your fight here is a little better. Like to me, what I see here is still very like 50-50, and I really don't like that. But it goes better. So like, okay, you have a lot of good pressure here, Jay. Just you have to be very careful about how you play it, and you are being pretty careful, which is good. But yeah, like I said, like they just get in through left because Fern dies there. That's an unfortunate situation. That's the kind of mistakes that will cost you at this level, I guess. This enemy team is pretty good though. They're playing pretty well. Okay, but we have left, like we have some space here. Jay getting behind them as well is fantastic. This is great. This is what we should be looking to play for. You do, like, instead of backing up here, Jay, like, remember, we have to look to settle for these kills. When you get a kill like this, and you don't have, like, the most immediate, easy follow-up, like, you just back up. You play to drop for left or something else. Your goal here should be to disengage without dying, because if you can do that, then instead of a trade, you go +1 up. And that's fantastic for your team. That's what we should be looking for. Droid playing this left side's pretty good. Fern, I don't like you being at the bottom here, because like you just don't have too much space here for yourself. Like it's yeah, Fern, you're just not holding too much. This is better. Okay. Yeah, this is slightly better, but it's still like a little off. We can maybe talk about it a little. Okay, yeah, I'll talk about it a little. So what makes this better? What makes this positioning better for us than like Fern being down here? Like hold on, I have to go even further back actually. So again, we have Fern on the bottom left here. Like this I would call bad. I think this is very bad for us. This positioning right here. We are in a 3v4, yet we are completely at a disadvantage here. Why are we at a disadvantage? A couple things. One, Fern, your position here is really bad because you are fighting the pen in a completely losing battle. There's nothing for you to do here, really. You ultimately need to either rotate to, like, I guess, like here, or you could play to rotate / to help the team fight for the right stack. But like this position at the bottom low ground, like you have almost no sight lines. You have this and you have this. You have no clue what's going on right here, which is like the most important part of the map, honestly. And yeah, that's all I gotta really say about it. Like either that, or maybe you could try to get up to this box if you know you have the space to do so. But like either we have to, yeah, we just have to do something other than sitting, just being a sitting duck almost for this pen. Like that's what it looks like to me. And then I think the entire team, just in general, should be playing a lot more for this right side of the map. This right side is very important. It's important we get this bucket out of the key position here as well. Even though they're not doing too much just yet, it's important that we get them to like at least jump out, bomb them with like a splat bomb or something. Because like they are kind of stopping us from holding right. Other than that, like we're probably looking to try to get droid up to this position. Like this position's pretty good for droid if we can get them there, so let's look to do that. But yeah, like you'll see kind of here why this goes a little better for us. Like Jay getting under them here is really great. Fern rotating closer in left as well, like this is great. The biggest thing that goes wrong here is, Jay, I think you give up your position. Like your position left is really good because it basically invalidates the pen. Plus you have a side of zone that no one else can really look at, which is really nice. So I think you just stick left here. You keep playing for under them. And then, like, for example, if the enemy then commits to zone, then you can peel back and come back in. But until the enemy is like super focused on zone, you cannot take this fight. Like this fight here is pretty bad because it's a straight up 1v2. Or it should be at least. But yeah. Like you notice how you just kind of go down, and like now instead of us having something to go for on left side, right? Like this whole side, like now they have all sides of the map. We go from this being the enemy position, right? Like that, to the enemy position now being like just a straight line here. And soon to be even more. Like soon it's gonna be like this, right? So like it's not good. At least we do get droid on the right side though. Like I think this is pretty decent. Droid, you don't get close enough to the wall in time. Actually, no, you're fine. You're fine. Never mind. Definitely not. We should be looking to fight this bucket a little earlier. Like try to swing on this bucket a little earlier though, droid. And then, God, this is really messy. That's all I really gotta say. Yeah, like I guess part of it's really messy because again we give up like the space that we were holding that actually could have gotten us lead. What else happens here? Yeah, I mean it's just kind of like it's kind of a mess. That's all I really got. And then yeah, Fern, your jump in here is also really bad. Like we have to really stop jumping in. As often as we do. I think that's a very crucial thing for us. Remember that with every extra death, this retake becomes quite a bit harder. For us, we get some great picks. Jay, this is like you're playing the side very well here. Don't peek this crab though. You need to back up. Like again, this is a moment where you just got a fantastic pick. We need to make sure we live. Like we play back a bit. Don't go for more. Don't get greedy. This is a very awkward map for you, though, Fern. At least against this comp, it's very awkward. I can see why you are struggling on this map. I think in order to do your best here, you should be just looking at wherever the pen and the splash are playing. Like I guess actually no, a little less of the pen because the pen's going to be top left. Like in general, I think you should be trying to enable more of this side of the map more than anything, because this side of them, like it's just slightly easier for you. In my eyes, it's slightly easier for you to be playing. Like not necessarily right under here, because right under here you are like, you know, prone to just being like dropped on like exactly this. Or at least if you're gonna play under here, you should be using your sensors more. That's another thing too. Your sensors are gonna give you a lot of crucial information about like what you're actually looking to fight here, and it's gonna give you that edge that will like actually help you win some of these fights here. Like I think more more often than you'd think, or like I think it'll benefit you more than you would think it would. It also would benefit your team because like droid needs to play Dynamo like pretty precise in order to get like right properly. So like that will also benefit, right? Just knowing where the enemies are, will benefit that. These trades are okay for us. They're not the best. Droid going down here loses all of that like trade momentum that we had. It was like slightly good for us, and then Droid went down. That was it. And then Fern going down here, like same thing. Like it's just not. At this point, we've lost all of our momentum 2-3 deaths ago. So, and this is going to be very difficult. I wouldn't expect you or me to retake this in time. Yeah. Okay. So biggest things there are, I think we need to look more towards the right side just in general, as well as using our sensors more to like help us make more precise movements onto the right side, because that's where we should be taking from when we have mid control, or like, you know, we're getting momentum to like push them. Yeah, definitely censoring more right. At the same time, I think a lot of the area control and zone and stuff can be done by both Droid and Fern. Like Fern, I think in general, like don't even look to play the stacks all the time, but more just rather like the middle of the zone right around here, because if you can do that and Jay can play kind of how I'm talking about, where Jay's looking more like to get in through the sides, like I think you will find it to be much easier to just walk through zone when Jay comes behind, rather than what's going on right now where we have like everyone kind of moving through this area, plus it's not really painted too much, so it's like it's kind of a mess. Other than that, we should be probably also enabling wings to get on this left stack a little bit more too. That is something that like sensors could be pretty useful for, like here. Sensor there is pretty crucial because it's a major choke point. And then as well, like Fern, if you're playing more like for here, you can both like look towards where Wings is going to be pressured. If Wings is, you know, getting attacked by someone going this way, you can also look to pressure right stack and get Droid eventually over to like this right ledge. Plus you can just go straight through zone if you need to when Jay does play the sides. But this all does definitely rely on Jay playing the sides quite a bit more. I think it'll also be very important for you guys to communicate that, right? Like we should be going our number one way of fighting into almost any team, like I think in general, should be one, like it starts with Jay calling that they're gonna play it like right side or something. Like if like Jay calls while you guys are in neutral that like, all right guys, I'm gonna go flank right or play right, and then like and then that is Fern's cue and Droid's cue to be ready to move, like Droid ready to move to the right, Fern ready to look through mid here. That's their cue to be basically ready for when Jay drags attention. So then when Jay gets to this side, right, they're playing from behind or something, like then when Jay pops up, then we can start putting a lot of pressure at once on the enemy, and especially like looking to just play the same side that Jay's flanking from, right? Like if Jay's flanking from here, we look to take this right stack plus maybe a bit of mid here. Like we look more towards like this angle and maybe like this angle, right? If Jay is playing more for left, then you know we still want to have like a decent view over like right stack, but we start with like getting Jay even further in, I guess, or like even yeah. But basically just that, like Jay's goal here is to live and distract, and our goal here is to take advantage of that, and then also give Jay an easier time as well. Like because if we can pick off people who are here or like here or something, then Jay can go even further behind or just like straight up help you guys fight, right? So that should be the goal. We play for whatever side they're playing on. It's going to be like, I can say all this stuff, but it's going to be a lot harder to actually implement than it seems right now, and it's going to take a lot of coordination practice as well. But that is how you are going to have to play with this comp. I feel right now I see very little of this sort of strategy, or honestly any strategy at all going on, which is definitely going to be very difficult for you guys to work with when your comp is already kind of at a disadvantage, and your comp needs to be played a certain way for it to even have like a really solid shot in winning a lot of these matches and just maps in general. So yeah, I think that might be all I got. Let me think. Your deaths are also very important. Like above all else that can be fixed the absolute easiest is just jumping out and dying less on our staggers. Like that should be that should honestly be the number one thing. You do that and everything else in the game, like retake wise, will become infinitely easier. We should not be trying to hold on to lost pushes, like pushes that we have no momentum left going for us. If two players are down on your push is basically dead unless you have a special. Like that's the golden rule, I guess. And sometimes even like one player, especially if the enemy team has specials up. And then, and then yeah, the jump ins are also very very bad. Like it's a very bad habit that we need to break. My best advice to breaking that habit is literally just stop playing stealth jump and start swimming in every single time, or like 95% of the time start swimming in every time. And what that'll do is that will both kind of help you maybe understand the value of your life, and also the value that gets taken away when you die once and then jump in and die twice. Like because it is the most like, you don't feel it until it's time to retake type of thing, where like you don't realize like how bad that is, but it is horrible if you die on jump in. um so yeah, like I think your best bet is to just at least play a little without stealth jump and practice like just playing without jumping in, unless like the entire map, like unless the enemy team got like completely wiped basically. And then definitely learning how to disengage as well from fights and pushes that you guys have like basically already lost. Like our goal should be every single time to at least have one player up in the game at once. Like if we wipe out, like that is the worst possible thing that can happen in the game for us. That's it. That's all I got though. I think I've emphasized my points enough. Ultimately, if you guys want to do better, you are going to need to implement some more like strategy into your comp. That's like the second biggest thing, and a lot of that comes with how you guys play around Jay. Like Jay's role right now is probably the most off out of everyone's I saw. Like out of everything we were doing, I think Jay has to play quite a bit differently for this comp to work. Other than that, that's all I got. Thanks for watching.